Hey gang, Jane back today with another fun and stylish crocheted granny square tutorial. I call this one the Graceful Diamond. I love working with geometric patterns, and granny squares for me are often like creating designs using puzzle pieces. This geometric square starts with a small square and then I rotate it so that the center appears as a diamond, very much like a kaleidoscope design. This square has such a versatile look depending on how many colors you use and where you choose to place them. I've had a lot of fun with this square playing with just the color. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're enjoying these tutorials, please like and share them with your friends. That helps me to keep this free content coming and to help inspire more people to get creative. As with all my squares, you can find the free patterns over on my blog at www.jspcreate.com, along with inspirational pics, detailed close-ups, and color variations. All right, let's jump into our Graceful Diamond Square tutorial. So before we get going, let's just take a look at this square. This is the one we're going to be working on today, but this has so many varieties. Each one of these was done in a different color combination with a different number of rows done in each color. So the square that's done in 8 rounds, which it will be today's, I'd say it's a 5.5 inch square. This square can also be done with less rounds. These 2 squares were done with 6 rounds, same square, just the last 2 rounds were left off. And they are 4.5 inches. And they're a much more simple look to them. You can see I did this one in 3 colors and I did this one in 2 colors. So lots of variety with the square. And again, this will be the one that we're doing today. So you can see the difference here. And then you can have fun with it by adding even more colors. So what I did with this one, 4 different colors in 1 round. That's how I got this look. And then this square right here, very simply, is done in 2 colors, the full 8 rounds. So lots of variety can be done with the square to get different looks. So in the square we're going to work on today, I have 4 colors. So here I have a barley color. This is an off-white color. Then I have a charcoal. And then this color is clay. I'll list all the names of the colors and the yarn over on the blog post. So we have 8 rounds and it's a 5.5 inch square. I'll be using a worsted weight yarn today, a 5mm crochet hook, and you'll also want a pair of scissors and a darning needle. We are going to work our ends in as we go, but you always need the darning needle to help us do that. We're going to start with our barley color and I'm going to do a magic ring. So we lay the yarn across our palm, cut end facing us, holding in place with your thumb and your first finger. Wrap it around your first 2 fingers. Underneath, crossing over, hold it with your thumb. Back over the next 3 fingers, so everything is held in place now. You're going to take your hook and go under the first strand, over the second strand, pulling it underneath and twisting your hook so it's nice and twisted on there to hold it in place. Now the strand that's over our 3rd finger, we go underneath that, hook it, and pull it through the loop on the hook. And we've created our magic ring and we're ready for round 1. Round 1 is going to be half double crochets. So we start with a chain 2 that represents our first half double crochet. Since we already have a chain 1 on there, we only need to do 1 more. So that is now our chain 2 that represents our first half double crochet. We're going to work 11 more half double crochets into this ring. Half double crochet is yarn over your hook, insert into the loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. There's your first half double crochet, which actually means we have 2 in there. You want 12 total, so we need to do 10 more into this ring. 1 more, 2 more, and make sure you have lots of yarn so it doesn't interfere with your tension. I'm just going to make a few here and then we'll count them. So I find if I count slowly, I always mess it up. So let's see how many we have on here. So I'm actually going to count the V stitches here. It's easier than counting these posts because they're very short. and I'm going to start up here and make sure that you count that chain 2 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is that chain 2. I only need 2 more. 1 and 2. All right, we're ready to pull up our magic ring for round 1. I hold it with my finger and thumb of the same hand I have the hook in, and I pull on this cut end right here, pulling on it gently and slowly to cinch this hole in. Try to hold that yarn that you're working with a little bit away there so it doesn't get knotted in, and just pull it so it's nice and firm and closed up. Now we want to finish off this round, and I'll be changing my color, so I am going to cut my yarn and do an invisible join. So cut it about 3 to 4 inches. Now we want our darning needle. Pull the yarn through with your hook, and let's do an invisible join. Put that yarn on your darning needle. You want to skip over the chain 2 that's here, go under the 2 loops of the first actual half double crochet, pull your yarn through gently, not too tight, and come back and go into the stitch you came out of. Going down 2 loops behind, pulling that through, and what you want it to look like is all the other stitches. So there you are, you have your invisible join. Now I want to darn this in so it's out of my way. What I do is where I went in, I come back up into the invisible stitch, which is the stitch that I made just now, right through the center of it, pulling it nice and firm but not too tight, don't want to mess up my tension. Go back down into the stitch behind it, and that gives it a little loop and secures it. And as I say to everybody, it really does, because when I try to pull these out, I can never find it. And then we just go through the back loops only, of maybe halfway around our circle or maybe all the way. This will all get worked into the next round so it stays nice and secure. So that one is now worked in and I can cut it. And on the back, I still have this one I started with. I'm going to work that in as well so it's out of my way now. This is the one that I pulled up the ring with. So I'm going to go continue around that ring. So going under all these stitches in that first round, and I'm going to continue around in a circle. Might feel tight, but that's okay, because if it's tight, that means it'll stay put. And I go all the way around at least once again, give it a little tug. And you can either keep going around again, or you can turn around and go the other way. It's personal preference. I actually find if I even just go around a little bit more, it's in there good and solid. Round 1 is finished. Round number 2, I'll be using my putty yarn, and I'll be using it for the next 2 rounds in this case. So let me pull back in the one that we are working on. This centerpiece right here is right here. Now we're going to do the next 2 rounds in putty before we change to the charcoal, which will be in round 4. So I take my putty and I'm going to join in any one of these stitches with a single crochet. And I like to do a standing single crochet. So I hold my yarn at the back and around my finger. I put my hook underneath it and loop it onto the hook, just a yarn over. Insert into any one of the stitches, going under the cut end at the back, yarn over and pull up. I have the 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's my standing single crochet. I do another single crochet in the next stitch. I forgot to mention this, but I will be working over top of my cut end for this round, and you can see it in this picture here. So I have 2 now, and this next will be my corner. And that's going to be a half double crochet, chain 3, half double crochet into that 1 stitch. Half double crochet, chain 3, and half double crochet. So right off the bat, we have the first edge and corner of our square. Now we're going to move on to the next edge, and that is simply single crochet in the next stitch and single crochet in the next stitch. So 2 single crochets, 1 in each stitch, and our next corner has arrived. Half double crochet, chain 3, and half double crochet. So there we have 2 corners and 2 edges. We only have 2 more of those to do to finish our square. Single crochet in the next stitch and single crochet in the next stitch. Next corner is here. We'll do a half double crochet, chain 3, and a half double crochet. Now I didn't really talk about this as I was doing it, but I held the yarn at the back the entire way around here and just worked over top of it. This time it was just simply working over the yarn. And as you can see on the back, it's worked in. Nothing fancy with that one, just working over top of it. We're going to finish off this round with single crochet and a single crochet, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches. When you get back to that stitch where you did the invisible join, because we looped the yarn around it, it can be a little hard to get into sometimes. So you just kind of work your way into it. And we should have 1 stitch left, and that's going to be our corner. Half double crochet, chain 3, and a half double crochet. Now I'm going to use this color on the next round, so I do not need to fasten it off, but I do need to slip stitch join. So go into that first single crochet with your hook and slip stitch join by just pulling the yarn through and through the loop on the hook, and you have completed round number 2. Round number 3 is fairly simple. It's all single crochet, and you're just going to do single crochet, chain 3, single crochet corners. So we start with a chain 1. We single crochet in that first stitch that we joined in, single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and that gives us 3 single crochets so far. In the corner, we're going to do single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. Now we're going to work a single crochet in each of the next 4. This gets tricky because these half double crochets, the tops of their stitches lie to the right of the stitch, whereas most of them, although they are laying to the right, the half double crochet seems to do it even more than any other stitch. So it can actually be hard to see that that's a stitch. So your first stitch is right here, right above that half double crochet, and you feel kind of like you're working in the chain space, but you're not, because there is a little bit of the strand you've gone into there. So you want to go under the 2 loops at the top of this half double crochet. That's where your first single crochet will work. And then we work 3 more. So you'll have a total of 4 across that edge. And we've reached our next corner, which will be single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. So go right into there, chain 3, and then another single crochet. So see how we've got single crochet, chain 3, single crochet corner. And we're on to our next edge. And again, we're going to do 4 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. So look for that first one. It's right there. And then we go 1 single crochet, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're back to our next corner. I'm going to get a little more yarn. I'm working with a ball this time, which I don't normally do. I like to hand wrap them. And this is rolling all over my desk. So if it rolls into the picture, then you know why. Next corner will be single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet. We're getting there. Next edge, single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is our last corner. Single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. So we started right here and we worked 3 single crochets. So we actually have a single crochet to work before we do our slip stitch joiner round. So we go right into this first half double crochet from the previous round and we work a single crochet. We can either do a slip stitch join to join our round, or we can do an invisible join because I'm not using this color. Again, not for the next round anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it about 4 inches. I give myself lots of room there to darn in. Bring in my darning needle and put the yarn on it. And then again, I'm going to do a invisible join. That's what I like to do. So taking my yarn, I go and I skip over this first single crochet because I will be imitating a stitch over top of it. And I go to the second single crochet, go under the 2 loops, pull my needle through, come back to the stitch I came out of, go in and go 2 down. See how that works really well? And then I come up through the middle of that one just to secure it, go back down the one behind, and then I go into the back loops only to darn my end in. And I'll do that across to the corner and then down the next side as well. And that will probably be good because again, that will all get worked into my piece. I will trim my yarn and we're ready to do round 4. So we've done 3 rounds so far, still just working on this square. We haven't got to the diamond part yet. So let's look where we are. We've done the square, so in order to see it properly, I need to rotate it like the diamond, right? We still have this row of charcoal to do before we start to do the diamond shaping. So let's go ahead and do the charcoal. We take our charcoal and we can join in any one of these corners because we can join where we want now. So I'm going to go into one of these chain 3 corners and I'm going to do a standing single crochet. So I wrap my yarn first, go into this chain 3 space, yarn over and pull up a loop and complete my single crochet. Now I'm just going to hold my yarn behind the back of the work because again, this is all single crochets. So I'm going to work 6 single crochets across this edge to the next corner. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We started here in the corner and I've done 6 single crochet across, which will give me a total of 7 single crochets. We've reached our next corner, and in this corner I do a single crochet, chain 3, and a single crochet. And that's what we're going to do all the way around. 6 single crochet and then a corner of single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. So I'm just going to go quiet so that you can watch me do this. This round is one of the simpler ones. So we've reached the end of our round. That's the end of our 6 single crochets. We're back to the chain 3 we joined in. So we work a single crochet in that same chain 3, then we chain 3 again, and we do a slip stitch. So I do a slip stitch now because when I end with a chain, I usually do a slip stitch. I don't do the invisible one. We slip stitch in that first single crochet, and we're finished. We cut our yarn because I'm not using the charcoal again. Pull it through. Get your darning needle and get it on the yarn. And what we do here is we're just going to do a simple through the back loops only. So I usually go back down into the first single crochet that I just slip stitched into, and then I go into the back loops only all the way across. And then I will go around the corner because I like to put a little extra in and go down the next edge. And the more you do it, the more you just loopy loopy loop, and it really works nicely. So then I stretch it back to the proper, because it'll pull it out of shape a little, and I cut it. And we're ready to go on to round 5 and do our shaping of the diamond. Okay, it's time now for our square to become a diamond. So let's pull this one in. There you can see, there's our square. And now we're going to be working this diamond-y shape around it. Basically, we're just pivoting it from a square this way to a square this way. Our next color is going to be this clay color. So this will be the most fun round of the entire square. Now in this case, we're going to join our clay in a specific spot, not just any spot, but we want to join it in the first single crochet of the last round. And if you can't find that first single crochet because we did darn our ends in, what I want you to do is just join it in the first single crochet after any of these chain 3 spaces. So it doesn't really matter if it's the first single crochet of the previous round. It's just the easiest way to find it. So we're going to do a standing single crochet in that first single crochet after the chain 3. So wrap your yarn around, insert into that stitch and under the cut end, and complete your single crochet. There's going to be chain stitches throughout this one. So I want to work my end in, and I will be working it up and down, weaving it into this round. So we take the cut end and we bring it up to the top across the working yarn, and we chain 1. Then we bring it back down, and the next stitch is going to be a half double crochet. So I'm going to wrap the yarn around my hook, including the cut end, and then I come back and I work into the next stitch, and I go under the cut end there as well. So super wrapped into this stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You've got a whole lot going on here. Yarn over and pull through all of it. Then we're going to bring our cut end back up across the working yarn and chain 1. Now we're bringing it back down again. I don't have a lot left, so this will probably be the last stitch I work it into. And we're going to do a double crochet into the next stitch. So yarn under, and all of this, including the cut end, goes around it. Go into the next stitch and go under your cut yarn. Pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through the first 2, including that cut yarn. You have 2 loops left on the hook. Yarn over and pull through those 2. Now I'm going to leave my cut end be. Just leave it. It's worked in nicely up and down all through here. Chain 1. And the next stitch will be a treble. So twice around the hook, and then you insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Trebles are yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the last 2. Now we chain 3. And then we're going to reverse what we just did here along here. So starting with a treble, twice around the hook, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the last 2. Chain 1. Now we do a double into the next stitch, So a double crochet, chain 1, and a half double crochet in the next one. Chain 1, always a chain 1 in between the stitches, except up between the 2 trebles, you've got a chain 3. So after a chain 1, we finish with a single crochet in the next stitch. So you're working into every one of these stitches. Complete your single crochet. So now I'm going to work a chain 1, and we're going to skip over this chain 3 space right here. And we're going to single crochet into that stitch on the other side of the chain 3. Just a single crochet. Let's take a look here at what we've done. We've gone up to a corner and back down again. Chain 1s in between each stitch and a chain 3 up here for the new corner of our square. When we got to this corner, we did just a chain 1, skipped over all that chain 3 space, and did a single crochet into here. Now we're going to repeat what we did here. So let's do this again. Chain 1, and we're going to work a half double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1. A double crochet in the next stitch, and a chain 1. And now a treble into the next stitch, and this takes us to our new corner. So from here, we do chain 3. That's the new corner of our square. And we do a treble in the next stitch. We are only doing 1 stitch in every stitch across, but there's always these chain stitches in between. Double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1. Half double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1. And a single crochet in this last stitch and chain 1. We're going to skip over this chain 3 corner here from the previous row or round, and we're going to work a single crochet into the stitch on the other side of it. Let's take a look again. Now we've done 2 edges of our square and we've created 2 new corners in the middle of those edges. So once again, let's look at the one we had before. See how it fits right into here. This is what we're working on now. We've rotated the square and we're creating a new square. So now we have a diamond in the middle. Let's do another one. I'll walk you all the way through this one because it is the trickiest round. Chain 1, half double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1. You're going to hear a lot of chain 1s. Double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, and a treble in the next stitch, chain 3 this time, 2, 3, and another treble in the next stitch. Make sure you have enough yarn so it's not pulling too much on you here. Chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, half double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, and single crochet in the next stitch, chain 1. Skip over this chain 3 space right here and work a single crochet on the other side of it into that first stitch. It'll feel like there's a lot going on in here, but it fits in, don't worry, and we'll be working a long single crochet into this space on the next round, just to give you a little preview of what's coming. So chain 1, half double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, and treble in the next stitch, chain 3, treble in the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, and half double crochet, chain 1. We're coming up to the end here. Single crochet in the next stitch. That's the last one of that edge. Chain 1. And now you want to slip stitch in the first single crochet of the round. So because I do standing single crochets, they're not as easy to get into. You have to remember to leave them loose. So I just pull through a loop and pull through the one on the hook. We're going to continue with this color in the next round, so I don't need to cut it off. So we finished round 5, and that was the most complicated round of this square. The next 3 rounds are all going to be very similar. We've done this clay round now, and we're going to do another round of the clay just to square it out nicely. I find, see how it's a touch wonky here? I'm going to be doing long single crochets. I'll show you when we get there. And it's going to make the square nice and square. And then we're going to do 2 more rounds as a border. If you recalled, I showed you these 2. They literally will do the next round and then that would be it for them. So you could stop after the next round, but I like to go ahead and put the 2 extra rounds on for the border. So round 6 will be slip stitching into the next chain space because we want to get over there. We're only going to be working in chain spaces from now on. So we slip stitched into that first chain space of the previous round, chain 1, and work a single crochet in that same chain space. Now we chain 1 and single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, and we've reached our new corner. In this corner we will work a single crochet, chain 3, and a single crochet. Now we're working across our first full edge. Chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, and chain 1, single crochet in this next chain space, and chain 1. Now we've reached this peak of our previous square. It's actually the corner of our previous square, but peak of our diamond. This is where I want to work a long single crochet. So we've done the chain 1. We're going to take our hook and go into the chain 3 space of round 4. So going into the charcoal chain 3 space, yarn over and pull up a loop and pull it up to your current round. Now it's not very far, but it's a little bit longer than you would normally do. So just making sure that your hook is parallel, horizontal, and you want to finish a single crochet. So yarn over and pull through both. That's a long single crochet because it goes over top of the previous round and goes into the round before that, like 2 rounds below. This stitch is also referred to as a spike stitch. We'll do around this corner and I'll show you another one here. So chain 1 and back to single crochets, regular single crochets into the chain spaces of the previous round. Single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, and we're back to our new corner, single crochet, chain 3, 2 and 3, single crochet, and we're going to work our way across this edge now. Chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, single crochet in the chain space, chain 1, and single crochet in this chain space and chain 1. Now we've reached this peak of our diamond. We want to take our hook, go from front to back into that chain 3 space of the charcoal, and you're working over top of all these rounds, yarn over, pull up a loop, pulling it up to the same level as this one, yarn over and pull through. That's your long single crochet. Chain 1, and we continue to work regular single crochets, chain 1s, until we reach our next corner, always working into these chain spaces, not the stitches. Here I am back to the next chain 3. So single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. So we've now worked down this corner, across our first edge to a corner, and across our second edge to a corner. Now all we have left to do is this edge and half of this edge. So I'll go quiet and just finish this up, and you can watch me do the regular stitches. So I've come around to the end of my square and I'm going to end with a long single crochet. So see, I've done the chain 1, go into that chain 3 space, working over top of everything, pull up a loop to the same height, complete your single crochet, chain 1, and then we'll slip stitch in the first single crochet of the round. And that completes round 6. So I'm going to cut my yarn and I'm going to work it in, because you can see as I'm going, I'm keeping the back as clean as the front. So I go down into the next stitch and I go down a few strands if I can find them, just to secure it in there. And then I bring it back up. And then I will go through the back loops only. And I go around the corner. And I go to the next edge. I'll go about halfway up. Pull it back into shape and then trim that off. And there we have round 6 completed. These are the same squares. This is done in 2 colors and this is done in 4 colors. And then to give you another example, this one here. This one is done in 3 colors. This one's done in 4. Just different placement of the colors. You can get so many different looks. So we're ready for our last 2 rounds, and they are actually the same round as what we just did without the long single crochet in it. And each one just increases by 1 stitch. So the next round I'm going to use the putty. So bringing in my putty yarn, I'm going to join in the corner. I like to join in the corners when I do new colors because it just keeps things clean. So standing single crochet in this corner. And then we do a chain 1, and I'm going to work my end in as I go. So taking the cut end up over the working yarn, I do my chain stitch, bringing the cut end back down and working a single crochet into this next chain space, working over top of the cut end. Then I bring it up and across my working yarn, chain 1, and bring it back down across my working yarn, single crochet in the next chain space. And we keep working that way all the way across, bringing my cut end up, and I'll take it all the way to the next corner. I think it'll go that far. Single crochet in the chain spaces and creating a new chain space for this round, bringing the yarn back down and working into the next chain space. So all single crochets, regular single crochets, and chain spaces in between. Oh, I almost have it worked in. This will probably be the last place I do it. Single crochet over top of it, and I'm just going to leave it at the back. Chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, and now I've reached my corner. The corners will be single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. And that is what this entire round will be. Single crochet chain 1s in each of these chain spaces of the previous round, with a corner single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. I'm going to continue to work around, but I won't talk, and you can just watch me work. If you know what you're doing, no problem, you can skip ahead, and I'll see you at the next round. Now we're back to where we joined it. To finish off this round, single crochet in that same chain 3 space we joined in, chain 3, and slip stitch in your first single crochet. We're finished with this yarn, so we can cut it off. Darn that into the back loops. Now you could again stop at the square right here. It looks great like that. I do one more round with the charcoal. Just want to show you the difference in my yarn balls, what's happening bouncing back here. This is my clay and I hand roll these. It's kind of like a yarn winder, but I do it by hand and they're center pulls. That's what I like. This one I pulled out and I had done it in a ball. It's been bouncing around my desk the whole time, and this one's been sitting very nicely. I have a video tutorial on how to make these hand wound ones, these center pulls, but you can use a yarn winder as well. They're so handy because they don't bounce around your work area and wind themselves up with all the other yarn. They sit and they behave. So I'll go ahead here and put my yarn in, get it out of my way so I can start the final round. And this one I'll probably just go all the way across the top because that's a good piece. And then I'm going to cut it. So round number 8, I'm going to use my charcoal. I can join in any one of these chain 3 spaces again, and you can make the square as big as you want, adding these rounds on. Now keep in mind, the larger you make a granny square, the more it's apt to skew if you're only working from one side in one direction. So I usually find by the time I've reached about 9 inches, that's when the square starts to have a little mind of its own. But I like to do a few border rounds just to give the colors some pop. So I join it with a single crochet in any one of these corners. And then I work my yarn in the same way as I did on the previous round. Chain 1, bring it back down, single crochet in the next chain space. Bring the cut end back up, chain 1, bring it back down, single crochet in the next chain space. And I'm going to continue like that, just like I did for the previous round. When I get to the corner, I do single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. So you do exactly the same thing as you did for the last round, only you're using a different color. You're going to end up with one more single crochet stitch per edge because you're one round bigger. Then you'll finish it off the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to this being done, show you how to finish off this last round. So I've reached the end of this round. I do a single crochet into the same chain 3 as I joined in, chain 3, slip stitch in that first single crochet, pull it through the loop on the hook, then I'll cut my yarn, and I will work this one in just like I did with the others, working it all the way down here, and you completed your graceful diamond square. Remember to check out my blog for more free patterns and project inspiration. And while you're there, check out my shop where you can find the PDF pattern versions of the squares and projects for sweaters, blankets, and home decor using many of my squares. There you go. You completed the graceful diamond square. Have fun with this by trying different color combos and different sizes. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to my channel so you're sure to catch all my tutorials as they come out. Thanks for crocheting with me today, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.